I want to just do a really quick drop in here and talk about brain fog, actually breaking through brain fog. Um, this is a really important topic. I was in a session with a client yesterday and we were talking about this, and he was talking about how important that was for him to resolve that. And we were just geeking out about brain fog, as I do in sessions with people that have processed it and can look back and acknowledge what it was and see it what it was for what it was. And so I thought I want to just share that with you here to really inspire you. If you have brain fog, there is a reason you have it. And working through that is how you reclaim your focus and your clarity. Um, and it is something. And I'm going to talk about what that is here. Let me introduce myself. I'm Rachel McLeod. I'm a mental health therapist and emotional wellness coach. I specialize in helping people resolve symptoms of anxiety, depression, and traumatic stress, doing that brain work for that. And also building wellness and health. And so I also specialize in complex PTSD recovery. And so all of those things often people have brain fog along with that, just feeling like they can't think with clarity, feeling confused, feeling like they're not as sharp, feeling distracted, disturbed, distressed, overwhelmed, uncertain, really, all those things. And the truth is, there's a brain process involved with resolving that. I'm going to talk about what it is, but there is a brain process for resolving all that is. And that process gets stopped and blocked. And so when that process is blocked, we're going to see more and more brain fog because your brain actually isn't able to walk through its process for resolving the emotional and mental somatic, the body expression of emotions and experiences, and the energetics running through us at all times to create that mental clarity and focus. And so, this processing, so brain fog, in when it's resulted in processing impairments. Is the result of processing impairments. So sometimes it can be a result of food, deficiencies, biological pieces as well. There's brain fog. There's many root issues, but complex, not complex, um, processing impairments, such as what happens with complex PTSD, anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress is one of the root causes. That's what I'm going to talk about today. And so, but it feels like a cloud. It feels like you've got something in your way mentally, and you really do. This stuff is is really the unresolved emotions by piling up. They just look like that in the brain. This is unresolved experiences in the past. Your brain's job is to metabolize all this stuff and then to utilize it to build your health and wellness. And then whatever it doesn't need anymore, it releases it. So there is a letting go process that if your brain can't walk through this process, it doesn't get to metabolize anything, doesn't get to digest it, it doesn't get to create your health and wellness, and it doesn't get to let anything go either. And people are talking about, oh, just let it go. If you have if this process is impaired, you're not letting it go. That's not going to happen. You can say, I'm letting it go. I'm setting the intention to let it go. You can do all that stuff. If this process is impaired, you're not letting it go. Your brain can't go through its process for letting it go. This is no different than what happens when we eat food. Once we eat it, once we have this eating experience and it goes into our system, it must be metabolized. The stomach works on it, breaking it down. The small intestine pulls out all the stuff we need. The large intestine gets ready to let it go. If that process gets impaired anywhere, you're not letting it go. You're not using it for health and wellness. You're using it, it's going to hurt. It's going to create problems. You're going to be very, very uncomfortable. It's no different than our emotions. And when our brain can't go through our process of letting go of stuff and processing stuff, it just hangs out, right? And it gets more and more dense. And this is where your brain fog shows up. And so a lot of what I help people do is really break this stuff up into, I help them sort it and break it up, because we have to get it through the healing pathways. And at this point, your brain is saying, I can't, I'm impaired. And so we're going to jump in and we're going to help your brain walk through its metabolism process, right? We can't give this vitamins and minerals like this. You can, Um, it is very supportive to the brain to make sure you have all your vitamins and minerals, but that survival system, if this stuff is pain, it's going to react and that's going to shut the healing down. It's going to impair it and block it. And so, this stuff that's the brain fog, all this clouds in your mind, we're going to just be creative with that conversation. Um, all of that stuff has to get through it past the survival system. And so, what we do is we support that survival system while we take little bits and kind of sneak it past. That's not how it works. I just think that's how it works. We think we're sneaking it past, but it's really we're helping to desensitize. We're helping the brain to metabolize the emotional distress and pain in there, relational pain, physical pain, somatic pain. We're helping the brain process that. Once the pain is processed, all of a sudden the brain can move that material through fast. The part that the brain struggles with the most with this brain fog is how it feels as it moves through your system. The pain neurons fire, and the pain neurons do not know the difference between physical pain, being stabbed in the gut, and being rejected. Right. So both are going to send us into fight or flight, being hurt, disappointed, fight or flight. Right. That part of the brain is not smart. It's not a logic or reasoning center. It's just designed to keep you alive. And it's been doing a phenomenal job for generations. We might not be thriving, but we are surviving. Right. And we need to really get that survival system to not react so we can get this stuff processed and get it to the parts of the brain that do know how to thrive. And so we break this thing down. That's the long of it. We just break it down and get it processed. The brain fog represents all the unresolved work your brain has not been able to do. You're getting that brain fog is the list of things that need to be accomplished. Also, when we do this work, we're reminding the brain how to have success with its process again. And so it gets better and better and faster and faster. And pretty soon we're working on little bits of this stuff and it's going and doing big chunks, right? We're working with a really powerful system. The mind body system is self-organizing. This brain is the organ of the mind and it just processes and does the digestive work and clears that mental fog up and gets you that breakthrough. So, what I want you to understand that the brain fog is something. Um, and really my question then is what is it? And that's what I'm open to with every single client. That's what I'm here. Tell me what it is, brain. Tell me what it is. And your brain is constantly trying to tell you what it is. And so I have these exercises I walk people through where their brain gets to finally tell them what it is and where they get to capture it and help their brain. Okay, I'm gonna help you with this, right? And this is what we're doing. But what we really, let me tell you what it is. I made a list. Memories, beliefs, inner conflict, things your brain cannot work through and resolve, right? This shuts people down. Brains don't know what to do with inner conflict. They really need a lot of support to integrate this to be able to figure out what the next answer is. What do I do then? Right? If it can't, it just sits there in the middle like, um, gosh, I have so much to say about that. I should do a live about inner conflict. And gosh, it is inner conflict in our system is how we get trapped and stuck in abusive dynamics. It's in the inner conflict. Resolve the inner conflict, and all of a sudden we're out of it. We rise out of it. And we can have inner conflict with our beliefs and our memories, right? It's just kind of a not functioning, not coming together, not integrating mess that the brain then can't help us with. Emotions, it's unresolved distress. It's stories that are moving through our system, maybe stories we've heard from our families, maybe stories we've made up. Their judgments. All this stuff isn't working well because the brain can't go through its process of working with it well. Right? And so the solution here is just help the brain work with it really well. And it's easy. We just provide one little support. One little support. It's it really is this is really so simple. And it really is not as difficult as people feel like it is. And there's a lot of myths out there that create more stumbling blocks for people, but it's so simple. It's like one left, right. Like literally, it's actually just left, right, left, right. But we that's it kind I think I just made a nerdy therapist EMDR joke. So that happened. Okay. If your brain can't metabolize this stuff, there's just gonna be a backup on the freeways, right? It's going to be things aren't moving. There's a bunch of brain trash in the air. That's what brain fog is. This is you're not broken. This is what brains will do if they can't process. And so we just want to get that processor up and running, and all of a sudden that stuff clears out. It's really phenomenal. It's nice to get your clarity back. And sometimes people have just global brain fog, and sometimes they'll have it in just one specific area. The more healing we'll do, we'll just that's one of my signs. Oh, I need to do some support. I need to support my brain over here in this area. Maybe it's working with one of my kids on something, and I'm just going in there and I'm like confused, right? Inner conflict, my needs versus their, right? My brain's just like, I don't know what to do, right? So we're just providing support. So there's a lot of power here in working with your brain, and brain fog resolves so nicely. And yeah, I want to invite you to try three of my favorite interventions for this work. And I have a free program called Interventions for Inner World Transformation. You can grab these interventions. It's a different way of working with your brain. It is not a talk therapy style. It is brain work. You're getting your brain to do its push-ups, to do its filing of the things, to do its processing and sorting of all the data that is backed up and needs to get processed. So those interventions work really quickly. You can see the shifts taking place, and it's really, really empowering. It's very instant gratification-y, in my opinion. You let me know if you feel the same way, because people tell me, "Is this magic?" And like, no, this is healthy brain function. This is what your brain should be doing on its own, and what it's going to be doing on its own soon. Okay, so there's that. And so thank you for hanging out with me. I did a little drive-by today. I have tons of videos. Follow me on YouTube. Learn more about this stuff about helping your brain really do its healing work. You can get right in there in the driver's seat of your healing journey and create transformation after transformation after transformation, regardless of how complex your PTSD is, regardless of how long you've had the anxiety, regardless of how severe and how long you've been depressed. And so it's just right here in this processor. We just got to get your processor up and running. So play with those tools. Tell me what you think. And there's no next steps after that to get you rocking and rolling here. But take the first step. It's fun. This brain work is fun. It's fun to see what your brain can do next. Take care. Bye.